You mentioned that swimming was a spiritual experience for you. Could you elaborate on what you mean by this?
Okay, so we're starting with the big one. I've been swimming since I was 2.5 years old, and obviously it has changed in meaning a lot for me. In the beginning, it was, of course, about the medals and the competitions and excelling at that. But since I started open water swimming at the age of 14, it required me to spend a lot of time alone with myself, sometimes in the pool, most of the times in a lake in Udaipur, and then later in the ocean. If you think about any spiritual experience, it brings you closer to yourself, it brings you closer to nature, it brings you closer to the universe or God. In that sense, swimming has been a spiritual experience for me. And also, every time you step into an ocean or a sea, what you're really doing, if you have a little bit of self-awareness, is that you're surrendering yourself to something bigger than you. So it could be the ocean, it could be the wildlife in the ocean, it could be the circumstances, anything. You are kind of made aware in a very in-your-face way that you're a very tiny part of a very big universe. And so you don't know if you're going to come out alive or not. You don't know if you're going to come out uninjured or not. And so it demands a level of surrender that I think is essential for any spiritual experience. So in that sense, swimming has been a spiritual experience for me.
Right. I think that makes a lot of sense. But can I ask you how, despite growing up in the desert state of Rajasthan, did you first develop a passion for pool swimming and then later open water swimming?
So, like I said, I started competitive swimming at a very early age, but I come from a city in Rajasthan where we did not have public pools to begin with. So I actually learned how to swim in a hotel pool. So a lot of my competitive years were spent training in a lake. And even after we got public pools in our city, we did not have the technology or the all heated pools. So we didn't have all season pools where you can swim even during winter time. And being in Rajasthan, winters are really, really cold.
Right.
So when you don't have an all season pool, you essentially have to stop training for a good part of the year. So about 4 or 5 months, you're not swimming, you're not training. And it's very hard to compete at the national level if you're not training for half the year. So that's how my mom started requesting the pool owners to keep the pool open during the winter time. So my mom and I would go unlock the pool by ourselves. I would be alone in the water, she would be alone on the deck, and I would just train as long as I could up until November or December,
right,
to just stay on that national level pace, just so that I could compete at the national level. And that's when we realized that I've always been a long distance swimmer. My events, even in the pool, were 400 meters, 1500 meters and things like that.
Wow.
So in that process, I also developed tolerance for cold water.